What's going on, everybody? You know who it is. This is Austin, aka More Than an Agent, and this is the Real Estate Blueprint Podcast. I'm here with my amazing co-host, my Dominicano hermano, Jonathan Soto. Soto, what's up, dog?
What's going on, man? I'm glad to
Everything
do
well?
another episode. Everything is great, man. Hope all was well on your end, man.
One podcast at a time, man. Let's bring it to the people. This is the podcast for the Black and Brown community. Make sure, just take 2 seconds, a little bit of housekeeping before today's episode. We got an awesome episode coming up. And just a little bit of housekeeping. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast. It just takes 3 seconds. Just subscribe to the podcast and just take 30 seconds to leave us a rating. And make sure you tap in to the social media and make sure you click that link in our bio as we continue to keep this going. Today's guests, I like to call our repeat guests, our repeat offenders. And the crime is changing our mindset and having our vents, the opportunities that are right in front of us. And with each and every episode, we strive to do that. And today's guest is a real good brother of mine. And we are setting up this episode because the simple fact that most people think that you have to, just be in business and can't do, don't work the job, become an entrepreneur. That's the only way to see wealth. That's the only way to see massive profits. And I'm here to tell you that that's just not true. And, in those particular cases, today's guest, he's doing it all. And he's created a financial ecosystem for himself, which is pretty interesting because he does have the full-time job. He does has established the business on the side and is clearly investing both in stocks and real estate, which at that point, like I said, like an amazing ecosystem for building wealth. And today's guest, Barshay Graves, on here for this particular episode. And we're going to be diving into all of that, especially his story, because it's an interesting one. And it really, really, really speaks volumes. So Barshay Graves, Shay, what's up, baby? Everything's well?
What's up? Yeah, man. Everything's good. How you guys doing today?
Everything's well, man. We're
Good,
going to
good,
dive right
good.
into this real quick.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you
All
guys
right.
having me on too, man. Jumping into what I got going on.
All love, man. And it's always we're always having good conversations, bro. So like
Exactly.
it's point record. Here's what we're talking about, and it always pushes us forward. So here we go. Let's dive into this.
Mhm.
One, just tell me about the story. And the only reason why, I really want you to point out your story and how you got started as far as getting to the point where you've now developed this ecosystem of both income and generating wealth. um it, it, Run us how you got into this, like run us your story, and I can relate to your story, which is why like it's always good for our particular demographic to see things like this. But run us through, take us back, and then bring us up to speed.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure, for sure, for sure. So we haven't talked in about a couple years, right? Since I had wrapped up or I think I was jumping into the Gulf City property 2 Junes ago. We had bought it March of 2020. And by about June, we were like kind of really into it, right? So from then on, we ended up unloading that property. So we flipped it. Um, and then I just sat, man. I did a couple transactions. Like I sold a duplex. I got a rental unit for a client. What else did I do? I think and then I helped. Oh yeah, obviously listed my deal. So like just did a couple things with some clients, tied up some loose ends, and just fell back, man. You ever just kind of be like, yo, I'm burnt out, like between tenants, clients, like running around with Home Depot, getting material, like I was just done. So um and I made some money. So it was cool to just have a little bit of money in the bank and just be chilling. You know what I'm saying? So um went a little hard with the cleaning company, made sure that was kind of built up and solidified. And then really from there just went on and just kind of just chilled. So from then on, it was like looking for a deal, looking for a deal, looking for a deal. I had got a promotion last May, and I had started managing a plumbing supply branch of my own in the city. So I'm on Washington Ave in the construction corridor. So got that. So making more take-home money, flipped the property and increased the revenue in my cleaning business. So then it was like, all right, now I had a little bit of money and it was time to jump into something. So what I did then was, jumped into a duplex and we closed on that last May. But to go back and start from the beginning, man, how I got here really was, listen, being in college, getting jammed up and realizing like, yo, I gotta have something. And I realized that not having my degree, being a young Black man, it was going to be tough to really make any headway. So I was kind of stuck at the time. I had to grind and kind of stay at Burger King while I was in school, dealing with my legal situation and trying to get back in school. So after leaving Rowan University, I applied to 𝐒𝐴. I got denied. Then I applied to Stockton. They let me in, and it was just a matter of I'll keep it real, just persevering, man. Just making sure that, I was going to be good. I wasn't going to be struggling, that I could leave a legacy eventually,
Right.
So with all of that being said, man, it motivated me a lot, kicked me in the butt and allowed me to really, really gain clarity to like plot and plan what I was going to do. So I was leaving the Burger King one day. I was going to buy a hose from Sears and I saw a sign that said tax school. So that was how I got into doing income taxes, because when I saw that sign, I said free tax school. I walked in there like, oh, you got to just pay for the books. I'm like, I knew at that time wealth was already about offense and defense. So it isn't even about all what you can accumulate, right? But what can you keep out of their pocket, right? What can you keep from Uncle Sam? And I knew real estate and depreciation and buying a duplex and being able to write half of everything that you expense or purchase off, right? So I kind of already was like into that mind frame and knew where I wanted things to be and how I wanted them to kind of look and be shaped. Then it was just about getting the capital. So I stayed at Burger King, stacking, doing what I had to do. Got pre-approved for a duplex. Bought a duplex in November 2015. Stayed there for almost a year, probably 10 months. I had some people that were interested in it, some young boys, let them move in. I went to go sleep on my sister's couch for like 2 years. That allowed me to parlay that into getting up some more money. I did a bird strategy on a row home in Camden. Bought that for 26. That's worth like 110 now. So did that. Got with my partners, and then that kind of got us to the Gloucester City property current, or as of a couple years ago. And then from then on, bought a duplex. In between, going from Camden, I bought a property in Pine Hill. I forgot about that. So I bought a property in Pine Hill, bought a townhome. I bought that for 60. Did a little bit of stuff to it. That's probably worth like 130 now. That's the house I'm in now. And I could probably rent that out for 1,800. So everything is a long-term game, right? Like think long-term. Just kind of hitting little singles, hitting little doubles. You know what I mean? And eventually I'm going to hit my home run. I feel like my home run is kind of now in this duplex that I'm working on. Bought that for 75, and I think that's comping out at like 210, not even doing anything to it, And with the way things are going, I could probably rent both sides out for like 1,300. So we looking at it. We really gonna be approaching a 5-figure portfolio the next deal or two, Like I'm like right there. And with that being said, I should hopefully be able to leave the job soon and kind of just like get them wheels turning, right? Like the locomotive is finally building up that momentum now. You know what I'm saying? And my thing is using one hand to wash the other because of times like this, right? So we kind of already in our little prep, right? We already kind of get into it, but right, you get to these times and like as Black and brown men, we don't have the opportunity all the time. Like I know a lot of cats that get to it, but they gotta hustle, and that's fine. But with that being said, we're not always structured properly, you know? So I have my LLCs, and my real estate business owns my cleaning company, and my LLCs, you know, own all my assets. That's outside of the first duplex that I bought, because obviously I bought that in my personal name with you know, Austin, I bought it owner occupied, right? So I got in there 3%, 3.5%, you know what I'm saying? So that's still, you know, in the personal, but everything else is owned in the LLC, right? And then during the pandemic, what was I able to do? I was able to, you know, cash in on a lot of the money that was being provided to us, you know, as landlords and as, you know, just business owners, because we was hurting. And I'll be honest, man, that a lot of that capital really, I would say, put me on too, because it was like when things were getting dried up, it was like, all right, well, now I can pay off a little debt. Now I can take care of these little bills that, you know, the tenants are not paying, or, you know, as things kind of get slowed down, I was able to keep it going, man. Funny story, man. I had this dude in Camden. I had gotten to a little rough spot. Man, crib got raided. My man was selling methamphetamine. I'm talking about weight. Cops kicked the door in, battering ram, knocked the frame out. I mean, going into the attic, stepping on the roof, knocking parts of the ceiling out like crazy. And this was in October, man. So like, yo, insurance does not pay for none of that. So you talking about have to do all that off the arm? I got to come out with a couple G's to come rehab this joint off the arm. Like, that's hurt. That's a hurt piece, you know? Luckily, I just made an LLC for a cat who was just starting out, so he didn't kill me. He redid the frame and redid the drywall, reinstalled the new door, and then laid some floors for me, all for like a little over $2,000. So it worked out. I had to buy the material, of course, but labor, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so probably like 3 G's, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, but it was like, you know how it goes. It's like right now, I just had to redo a sewer, and I'm rehabbing a duplex, right? And then it's like, when I was doing that, I had to do other stuff in it. So it's like every time you get in a spot where things are good, 3,000 here, 2,000 there, 5,000 there. It'd be like, yo, like, yeah, every time you feel like you got a couple dollars, that stuff be gone, man. For real.
Yep.
So y'all know how that goes though, man. Playing this game.
Nothing different.
It definitely sounds like you went through a lot of adversities and the universe trying to hold you back. What gave you that push to continue to keep moving forward, build a cleaning company, do the taxes? Sounds like your hands on the spots. What's giving you that push?
Man, having 13, you know, felony counts, man, and just being like, nah, this ain't it. You know what I mean? I got it all thrown out. I ended up having one, and it was marijuana. So, you know, that ended up being real favorable over like what happened over the last year. So I'm in a real good spot right now, but not having a choice, man. We don't got no choice, man, because ain't no trust fund, right? Yeah. My mom and dad ain't like, I don't know nobody that's been able to amass what I've amassed so far. And I'm not a millionaire yet, right? Like, I'm not doing anything crazy, but compared to the average person will never be able to accumulate what I've been able to, just based on pure numbers and just based on how it is, like average income, average savings in the bank, just little things like that. So sometimes you do got to sit back and pat yourself on the back and realize, like, yo, I'm a lot further than where I was, but I'm nowhere near where I want to be, right? Mm-hmm. So if I was able to get this far, then I could look back and see where I'm going, man, but I could also look ahead and say, like, yo, I still got a lot more work that I got to do. So like, that is what really keeps you going, and understanding, like, I'm not nowhere where I want to be. I'm in a good position. I've done this, right? I've gotten here, but there's so much more to do. So you can't stop walking now, right? You're in the middle of the desert, right? Ain't nobody gonna come save you. So you got to make it to the other side, right? Kind of like that light at the end of the tunnel. You feel me?
No, that's a good point, man. It's perfect case in point. And the reason why I love your story is because obviously, you know, it's something similar, right? Where, I mean, it wasn't different situation, but still ending up with a strike on your record, right? And to the point where, like, I've had jobs denied, I've had stuff taken away from me. I couldn't go anywhere beyond where I was at, and which was a dead end job at that point. And like you said, I mean, that's eventually how I wound up getting into real estate and quit my job and go into real estate full time. And in this particular case, like it's you're absolutely right. And I like that analogy of like if you're in the middle of the desert, like like standing there is definitely not gonna help. So like we might as well like keep it on moving. Like I know we're gonna complain, we're gonna complain, we're gonna be pissed off, like we're gonna be hot, like we're gonna be, but at the same time, we're gonna have to keep walking because if we stop,
you know what
like,
it
that's
is.
the worst
You know
thing.
what it is, right? You ain't got a choice.
Walking in this particular case is just taking the action, is just taking the action. And it could be little things, it could be big things, whether you know, it could just be as simple as just reading a book just to find out more info, or attending the conference, or just picking up the phone and calling 3 people. But at the same time, it just whatever just keeps you essentially moving forward, which is just nothing but action. I want to bring up a very popular topic because obviously you're in South Jersey, a cheaper market than North Jersey, and considering majority of the country, for individuals that are looking to either get in the game or looking to more importantly expand their portfolio. You know, some individuals are going out of state, right? So like I'm in Cleveland now, but that's because properties are cheaper in a major city, in a major metropolitan city.
Absolutely.
However, I've been talking to you, you know, from time to time, and now more than ever, I'm
always checking in, always checking in.
In this case, like if somebody's looking in South Jersey, like what are hot markets to invest in? Because it looks like you're getting them at good pricing and so on and so forth. And then the second question will be, well, the first question actually, I'm going to switch. The first question will actually be, how will you finance? Are you financing? Are you paying cash in the cheaper market? And 2, what cities are considered hot cities that heads, you know, should be paying attention to, and you know that they can benefit off of?
Oh man, those are so this is probably the most important thing that I say, man. And man, also I don't even know how long we know each other. We go back, what, probably 10 plus years from college, right? So we've been doing this thing now, what, 4 or 5 years, and you always, right? We always check in on this, right? Just even if we don't talk for months, you just like, yo, what's going on? What's going on? And what am I always telling you? Like, man, stop playing, come down here. So it's just funny, right? So that's always going to be a thing. I'm sure South Jersey is probably always going to be a little cheaper than North Jersey, just based on demographics, right? Just the way things are going there and the way things are here, right? So anyway, so I'm technically on paper paying cash for everything, right? Am I giving them my cash? No, right? So I would say,
and that's where your bridge loans are coming into play.
Bridge loans, but I've also used like credit cards too. So 2 I've used bridge loans, 2 I've used straight credit cards, right? Like a hybrid of credit cash type. So,
and tell us really quickly, and sorry to cut you off, but it's so interesting. Okay, only because I made the mistake of using and I don't want to veer off your question. I'm gonna make sure we stay on. But the credit card and the bridge loan, tell us how those works mechanically.
Exactly.
I got you. I pulled cash out using my credit card for my very first property. I pulled cash out, which was probably the worst type of option because that's the one that has the highest interest rate.
Highest interest rate.
So you run us through mechanically how you access the cash from the credit card and how those bridge loans works.
Exactly. Oh man, and I'm so glad you said that. So basically, I'm just going to rehash what you said because I think this is the most important thing that people should grasp from it. So like you pulled cash, which you already said was a higher rate. So what I did was I ran it through a business. So what I did was use like PayPal. And then what I did was, since I run a branch of a store, 𝐒𝐿. So look, I sell plumbing and HVAC. So I went to a water heater that was like $1,500. I paid with 2 cards. So I used my debit card and I swiped $100. Then I take my credit card and I swipe it for the remainder, right? Let's just round it up and say I need $3,000 cash, right? So when I do the return, I return the money to the debit account. So all the money does what? I purchase most of it on the credit card, but when I write the credit or the return, I return it onto the debit account. Same day, what do I now have? cash in my checking account. Okay. The other thing I did was I used my 401k. I've been living below my means for a year. So I already knew that the level at which I'm living, once I pull that 401k and pay that loan back, I'm still going to be under. Meaning I can pay this 401k loan back, get my check, and still have enough money to like do some other things because I've been living so below my means. So I took 12 G's from a 401k for this most recent deal. I used a credit card, but like I said, I did it in a way to where when I did the credit, right, I did a purchase, like a fake purchase, right? But then I instantly returned it and returned all the money into my checking account. So now this money on this credit card, 0 interest card, by the way, for X amount of time, now came into my account for nothing. All I gotta do is make a minimum payment every month, right? Now, other ways I've done it is, and I've had my card canceled doing this too, swiping on your own business. No. It ain't never gonna work. They got all these things in place now because they know people are doing it. They'll shut the account down, right? The best thing to do is honestly just bill your friend. You know, have a consultation or whatever the case is, and write them a bill and send them the money, 5,000, 6,000. But don't do it. Don't do a crazy amount. Do like a test purchase of like 1,000, right? See how that goes. Then do another one of like 2,000. Then do another one of like 3,000. Like. You got to prime these cards, and you can't just go jumping out making crazy purchases because then it's going to look funny. And then you'll jam yourself up. But you just really got to be strategic, knowing how much money you have to make these minimum payments, right? And then knowing how you're going to pay this card back off on the back end, whether it's a refi, a bridge loan, et cetera, et cetera. So on a bridge loan, this money that I told you guys that I was pulling or trying to accumulate was just for that down payment, right? So when it's a bridge loan, you might have to come up with 15%, right? They're going to give you the rest of the money. You're paying it back interest only, but they're going to give you the rest of the money to buy it and put this property back together or rehab this property, okay? All you got to do is make a minimum monthly payment, interest only. Right. Interest only is dope because it's a smaller payment. And as long as you bought right, what do? We make our money on the buy. I already know this is a good deal when I come into the deal. Minus some plus, you know, there's always going to be some things that happen bad. But if the worst case scenario happens, can I still make money? If the answer is yes, it's a good deal, right? And I say cash flow and then refi and get all my money or most of my money back out. If I got to hold a few $1,000s, I'm not tripping because I got an asset that's going to make me a few $1,000s this year, right? And I got an asset that I know is going to pay me into the future. On top of appreciation. I'm not a big appreciation guy. I've only talked about it today because this is where we are currently. Like, these are real numbers based on where I bought within the last 3-4 years and where we are currently, right? So that's the only reason why I mentioned it, but like, I'm not an appreciation investor. Like, you only do that in the big cities and it's very, very risky. So like right now, if you've been investing for appreciation, you can do you're in that kind of market. South Jersey.
And I'm gonna keep it G. The main reason, and I used to be the same way. Like I never bought for appreciation or speculation. That's the worst thing. And I'm only buying for cash flow, right? I'm only buying for cash flow, 110%. The messed up part about it is that I got exposed to the appreciation, and after getting exposed to the appreciation, I'm not going back. I'm not going back. From now on, it's either going to be something that's going to, except for, well, my first cleaning property, I just want to get my feet wet and was buying just strictly for cash flow, But at this point, like, it's going to be those deals. Like, it's going to be those deals where it's either some type of value at, which is why I love the commercial aspect of it. I love the commercial aspect of it, and 5+ units once you get into that, like, valuation wise, because with this, with the residential 4 units and under, right? If you buy a renovated property, let's say you buy a renovated property for 500, you buy a renovated property for 500. If everything else is selling in the area, if everything else says renovated selling for 500, that's all that it could be worth in theory, right? It's sales comparison approach, right? But once you're buying a renovated property, you're buying at probably at that point the maximum value. right? The most like the highest value that you could possibly pay because it's renovated already, right? Which leaves you little room to be able to make improvements to increase the value, right? So we're only at that point, you're only really relying on the market continuing to go up, right? Which it can only go up for so long, but obviously in the long run, we know that it is. But what I love about the commercial aspect of it, or if not, like just value add, like buying and rehab 3 units or 4 units, whatever case, commercial end, you can buy a brand new renovated property, right? But that won't be the highest value because when you're increasing the rents, that increases the value. And the rents are going to guarantee to go up, right? Like in the grand scheme of things. So like you're no longer relying on markets, even if the market like drops, the rents and commercial properties are valued based off of what the property makes.
What it can generate, right.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
You can also reduce expenses and increase the value of a commercial unit as well.
Boom, right? So like in those cases, like I got the bug. I got the bug just off of that end. But all good.
I love that. It's so funny you say that because I just drove by. I was like in the shore area, like Margate, South Jersey, Ventnor, Atlantic City area, and man, I drove by this Dollar General that said for sale. And I called my homie, which I'm going to go see him later. We're going to actually go look at. He's in negotiations to like buy this liquor store, and it's a bunch of stuff going on, right? But I saw a Dollar General, and if you know anything about Dollar General, they like to be in pockets where there can't be a Walmart or a big convenience store. So, with that being said, I'm like, man, it's real estate, man. Let me see what this Dollar General was looking like, and I'm gonna talk to my homie about it yesterday because I'm really into Ben Mala, and I love what he's doing. And them numbers are just crazy on the commercial end. So if I can jump into that,
I gotta. Okay.
You're not on him.
I haven't heard of him just yet.
Really?
No, and it's I'm pretty sure he's a top name just in.
Yes, he is.
Commercial.
Yeah.
Commercial.
Yeah, big time. Big time. Big dude, big personality.
Yeah,
he's you heard of him before?
No.
Okay.
I'm gonna follow. I'm pretty sure like they like
I see him.
I'm pretty sure it's another like big fish in the
playing. Now it is. Yeah, he's one of the big dogs. You know how it is. There's only so many of them dudes that get that big.
For sure.
That expose themselves. You know what I'm saying? That's a lot of big dudes, but not there. You know how it is. Cats get money and they disappear.
I just want to make sure that we go back to the topic because I don't want to forget about it. Just because of just how we're looking on time. So if you had to claim, say, let's give 3 cities, we'll say 5 cities. We'll say 5 cities, South Jersey, what you're seeing.
Love it. Okay, yeah, perfect.
5 cities, like, and that's great for both, right? For real estate investment, whether they're buying and holding, whether they're flipping, doesn't matter. Give us 5 cities because it's all the same product. Maybe some might be, but like this, 5 cities, just go. 5 cities.
It's gonna go 5 cities. Yeah, so 5 cities. You might not be able to really flip in all of them, but if you want some cash flow, we're gonna go Camden, of course. Like Camden is crazy. I love where I'm from, man. Violent and Millville. Low tax is similar to Camden.
Which county is that?
So Camden is Camden County, right?
Right.
I'm from Cumberland County. So that Vineland, Millville, Bridgeton are those major cities there. Vineland's gonna be your biggest city, the most going on economically. Overall, though, the rest of those areas kind of drag it down. They're just low income areas, big Section 8 market stuff. I mean, like half the people is on government assistance, right? So with that being said, it's good. Paulsboro, we're now going into that's still Gloucester. Salem, which would be Salem County, so that's more towards Delaware. And now it's really a little more rough down there. But now you talking houses that are 30, 40, 50K. You know what I'm saying? Not happening anywhere else, right? And where I bought right here in Pine Hill was good. I got it for 60, but This is not like a cheap area. It's Camden County. It's, you know, kind of in that middle point. People come here to live and buy homes. So this is a market where the houses are anywhere between 310 and 4. So it isn't like cheap. It's just like your average kind of place to live, you know. You got some really nice homes in this area, where you can like make a living. I personally would not live I would live in downtown Camden, right? But I personally ain't living in Millville. I'm not living in Salem. I would live in Vineland. I would, like, if you're building a compound, you want to build it in Vineland. Like, you want to get away and you want to be quiet, you want some land, you're going to do that in Vineland, right? So just to kind of give you guys a picture of like what these neighborhoods and communities are like on the residential side and on the investment side, so you can kind of get a gauge of what's going on, you know? I hope that makes sense to y'all.
Yeah, it makes sense. A lot of those towns, honestly, I never heard of them.
I'm sure.
Well,
Listen,
Jonathan, you're from New York,
and I keep telling.
I'm originally from New York.
John, you're from where?
I'm originally from New York. I moved over to Newark when I bought real estate, and now I'm in Morris County, West.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, man. And like I said before, man, I would love, man, I'd have y'all down here. Just ride y'all come down here and kick it with me for an afternoon. We go get some lunch. We map out it, you know, go see a couple cribs, stop, get some food, kind of talk it out, and then go see a few more. Y'all will be surprised at what y'all could do down here, man.
You could definitely set that up. Yeah, I'm down.
I'll be in Atlantic City soon, and you know,
I just came back from that.
And that's Atlantic City. Atlantic City is major. That should go on my top 5. I'm sorry, Atlantic City, booming.
So I've been okay. All right. So
yeah, let's talk about that.
Exactly.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
So all right, put it like this. We'll put this out, and then we'll go into, if Jonathan has one last question, we'll let him rock, and then we'll start our descent. We'll go into the core 4.
Got it.
Okay, so I have a love-hate relationship with Atlantic City, and I my wife and I, we love going down. We're always having fun. As a matter of fact, I may go down today, but in this particular, I might go down today, come back tomorrow, or come back 2 days. But I personally love to like invest in cities that, like, we'll put it like this. In this case, I'm trying to solve that itch of going into a city where, like, not so much I vacation to, but like that I travel to, right? So like the Floridas, we're working on something in LA that hopefully we can make happen, but like we're having a spot in those locations. But all that to say that Atlantic City, I see the 6plexes, the 8 units, the 10 units, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I do know that the whole entire, if I'm correct, the whole entire economy there is the whole entire casino, like,
basically,
right? For the most part, right?
Right.
And
Just
what I've seen, like, just off of like what is happening with the casinos, which, like, we're here to get input. It just hasn't looked like it, because I've been wondering why it hasn't popped up for the longest, and it just seems like it.
I get what you're saying.
You know what I mean? So
no. I know what you mean. So let me jump in real quick. So, and obviously you know the market, right? You party there, right? So you got to look at it like this. The fact that you drive down there is why it's attractive. But investing is what, right? All investing is seeing something in an asset that most don't see, because you think this is going to perform in a certain way, which is why you bought it, right? So I feel like I see what people don't want to see in Atlantic City, and it's the fact that it's a Black mayor. They're weed friendly. The properties are still pretty affordable. They're building a water park down there. They're building a grocery store down there. Like, stuff's clicking, right? They just got a pro basketball team down there. Like, stuff's going on. Now, hear me out. I was in Margate yesterday at an Airbnb. Ventnor was where I was at. The bar was in Margate. We stayed in Ventnor, but I ended up coming back because the chick had to work, and I know I had to get with y'all this morning. So, I made it a regular night, got to bed, came and just kicked it. But I was at the beach yesterday. So them surrounding cities, Austin, me and my homies are like, yo, we got to buy land and get 2-3 million and build out here because this is where it's at. It's money. That's where they go. And if Atlantic City doesn't necessarily turn the corner, I know I could get cash flow out there. I know I can. My homie that I'm about to go see with this liquor store, his duplex is in Atlantic City. He's renting out to a girl. She's going to pay him $100 over market. She's going to sublet it Airbnb. And I'm like, that's perfect because now let her be the test pilot for your Airbnb with no risk, essentially, right? So, and you can still get in Atlantic City for under 200, you know, which is crazy to be like, yo, you can get into a market for under 200. Like that's crazy. For me, under 50 used to be good. You know what I'm saying? Right. And to be talking under 200 is like, dang, that's how you got to be looking. Like me getting this property at 75 was a home run. What are you buying for 75 that's worth 200? Nothing. Right. You know? So all I'm saying is you might have to ride through the hood a little bit, man, when you get out there, you know? Or when you got to get with me, man. You know that's 40 minutes for me, man.
So you mentioned a lot of stuff. You mentioned a water park. I see. What is this? Is this going to be the biggest water park? And is it going to be bigger than American Dream? That's in North Jersey?
I think so. Look it up. And you see American. Also, you know, I had to steal your post the other day. American Dream Mall is failing. You know, I had to steal that post. They failing bad. And I've been up there once. I went up there on a Sunday. You know, South Jersey is not like how it is up North Jersey where y'all like clothes. We don't do none of that. Like, there's no liquor stores closed. There's no, I don't even know what that is. Like, that doesn't happen down here. Whatever that laws, that blue law, like what is it?
That's just in Bergen County, yeah, blue law.
That's Bergen County.
Yeah, that's only Bergen County.
Oh, okay, good.
Chick-fil-A model, the Chick-fil-A model, closed on Sundays.
Yep. Yeah, that stuff is wild to me, man. So anyway,
on Sunday.
Yeah, closed on a Sunday. So anyway, that ain't gonna happen down here. And like, people flock to Atlantic City. That's gonna be a major driver next summer, man.
When is this?
Them being married, I think 2023. Next summer. Which is even better because a year from now we'll know a lot more about this economy, and I think we'll feel better about this economy. Listen, this is gonna be a rough summer. This ain't nobody's summer this summer. But I think next year, as a year from now, when we're rounding into 2024. I think things will start to cool off or will be at least adjusted to what this world is giving us. And hopefully our incomes change a little bit to kind of help stem some of this inflation and such. So I wouldn't feel good about it if it was now, but the fact that it's underway and it's coming, I feel better about
it. It's interesting. I'm definitely gonna be.
We just got to talk more, and we can discuss it more outside of this setting, right? Because I'm just telling you guys.
No, it's just great, and for everybody listening, just like it gets the opportunity just to like point out, you know, just what's happening in our backyards. Because most you know individuals, including myself, right, like we're going out of state per se, right? You know, just there were a couple of reasons why. But then obviously in this particular case, like it's like what's in your backyard that you know you can also find profitable. And obviously we've been having a conversation all the time. And now more than ever, now that I'm in a funny situation just with my journey and just scaling, you know, I'm gonna add, we're gonna have a conversation, but I'm gonna wind up taking the peak more down South Jersey, that's for sure.
You mentioned a grocery sports team. What's that about?
Say that one more time.
A grocery and sports team. What's that about?
Yeah, so they have the AC Gambits, which is like a little semi-pro basketball team. They play down here now. They also have I forget the group. So there's like no like grocery stores in Atlantic City, believe it or not.
Building a ShopRite, I think it said.
A ShopRite, yep. Which is a big deal. Like, how is there no grocery store in a city? Think about that. Right?
Right? I'm a fan. You're slowly convincing me to be a fan. And the only reason why, because I've been looking like down, like if it wasn't that it was Trenton, it was just like where else like down in New Jersey, that's a major city, right? That's like one of my like, not so much criteria, but it be a major city, right? Like, popular,
Of
well-known
course.
city.
Right.
Um,
It's a destination, right?
Correct. And the only reason why I say that is because if I'm going to invest in places where I'm not familiar with or not near me or whatever the case, like I gotta at least know this shit. Like it's gotta like stand out, right? And when you're down in Vineland, like stuff specific for Vineland. When I'm not used to it because I'm like up here. And same thing goes for anybody that's looking, like if somebody is from Texas looking to invest in New Jersey, right? And they like know Newark, but they don't know East Orange, right? And it's
Right.
like, well, East Orange is
Absolutely.
like, you know what I'm saying? So on and so forth, right? But in this particular case, yeah, it was either that, the Camdens, the ACs, the Trentons, for the most part, right? Of like
Yup.
those three for the most part.
Major cities.
Major, just simple, and you know where you're at. Like Trenton, I'm still like, I can't. It just doesn't, I can't yet. But AC, like, it's always been on my like list. And I just now more than ever do I see like where, kind of where they're going economically. And I love that. Because this is where I'm looking at it right now. They got 7-unit apartment buildings, 200,000. I got a 5-unit for 300,000.
You see what's happening?
So in this particular case, right? Like, and I'm just looking on LoopNet, so this not even a true depiction.
And LoopNet is trash. You come get in the market and start talking to people. Yeah,
everything's pocketed and pocket listings and off market deals in the
come on, man.
Real commercial.
That's how I got my last duplex from a wholesaler that texted to me. I was like, yo, thank you, really. Like I finally see how this works now. Like the real good deals, somebody got to throw you an alley-oop. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
The real good deals ain't getting talked about. It ain't happening.
Right. I'm gonna be paying attention. I'm set. That's my selfish aspect of my podcast. But then in this particular case, like I'm hoping people are paying attention just off of the strength of like what's happening here.
Yeah.
Especially in the for our listeners right here in New Jersey. Real quick, just because how we're looking on time. Let's go into the core four unless Jonathan has the last question.
Let's do it.
All right, core four. 4 questions that we ask each and every guest on the Real Estate Blueprint podcast. Question number 1: what is your favorite aspect about real estate?
Oh man, walking into a crib and just seeing the progress of it, right? Like you knew this thing was ugly, dirty. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't live here until like, yo, this place all right. You know what I mean? So like I love the changing, the change, the progress, right? The beautification of it. I love that aspect of it.
Dope.
Beautiful.
Next question is, what is your favorite business or personal development book?
Ooh.
And for the record, Barshay does have has a book out. I have a copy of it as well, called B.R.O.K.E. Let me actually go pull that. But we definitely
my guy. Appreciate the plug.
You can't
and we're about to get back in the lab too, man. Actually, I think I think I finally got everything I need to write Still Broke. So yeah. So that's exclusive. That's what I've been cooking up. But now as you do that, gotta be between like Think and Grow Rich and The Millionaire Next Door, man. Think and Grow Rich is just like a dope book in terms of mindset. And The Millionaire Next Door just really talks about like how wealth is not what you think it is, right? Like most people that are wealthy are not driving. My guy, I appreciate that. So
this is the book B.R.O.K.E.
You see a lot of us
obviously broke
with a nice car.
I gotta give my quick review on it real quick. Most of the time individuals like we don't, and I know Zoom might have this reverse, but
it comes up. It's good.
Oh, it comes out straight? Okay, perfect. So like normally in this particular case, most people the word broke usually turns into a negative connotation. And in this particular case, like I can't even, the book is a real amazing crash course on getting your foundation straight to build like your financial wealth and the ability to at least like set your footing, like just in case like just things like go sour. But just so y'all know, like budget, risk, opportunity, keep and eliminate debt as far as the acronym for broke. But
Yeah, appreciate that, bro.
yeah,
Appreciate
all
that.
love. Either reach out to myself or Shay, and we'll get Shay's information on where they can follow as part of the last question, and we'll be good to go. But favorite business or personal development book, and you mentioned Millionaire Next Door, or what was the other
Think
one?
and Grow Rich. Think and Grow Rich. Between those two, in terms of just kind of like forming your mindset, like Think and Grow Rich is kind of like, you got to read that. Like, I think it's like Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and that's probably number 2, right? And then Millionaire Next Door, again, I think it goes into like how we think wealth looks like, the person with the big old house or the person with the big old, the nice car. And it's like, how do we build this first, right? Like, I know in our communities, we see that and we automatically, remember, we come from the hip hop, drug culture. So that cat did have money, right? But the average person riding around in that car, it doesn't mean nothing, but they got a high bill, right? Doesn't mean they necessarily got money. Whereas you see the other communities, right? They got money and ride around in Toyotas and regular houses, and they got vacation houses that we can't see, and they got stock portfolios, and they got, right? They're not wearing their wealth, right? So that's what I really love about the Millionaire Next Door.
Yeah. I love it because Think and Grow Rich. It's even if you don't read the book, you're gonna want. And even if you don't read the book and become successful in just whatever you're trying to do, you're just gonna realize that all those principles, that everything that you did to become successful, are already in the book. Like whether you like read it or not, you're gonna wind up practicing those as you advance your journey. Okay, question number 3. When you're not out doing deals, at work, running the business, what are the fun things that you like to do in your spare time?
Man, tell my dog, I get my hair in the background whining, getting on my damn nerves. Man, I'm YouTube, just learning new stuff. Restaurants, bars, trying that, traveling,
Right.
doing that whole thing. So that's pretty much it. I don't do a whole lot, man. I'm still thinking about the finances and how I can have some fun without like blowing the budget. So a restaurant, bar, something decent, nothing crazy. Traveling when I can. And then just kicking it, not doing nothing because I'm always doing something, right? So I do as least as I possibly can.
Are you
Literally
going back
just
to
chilling.
Invest Fest? Are you going back to Invest Fest this year?
Oh yeah, I'm in there. I'm going. I'll be there for sure. Yeah. So hopefully you can make it. See what that calendar's looking like.
Yeah.
Last question is, where can people find you?
Oh man, I'm everywhere. Instagram, Facebook Shay Graves, Instagram Shay_2_fly. And then Twitter, Shay2Fly as well. I think it's Shay.2Fly. It's same thing on Twitter. Shay2Fly, right? So yeah, man, I'm all over the place, man. I'm not pushing on the socials like that. I kind of just I push the narrative, right? But I'm not really promoting anything right now. I'm just putting in this work, man. Like, a lot of it's real work to be done. And I'm just doing that versus like trying to advertise it to everybody. I'm trying to secure this bag, man, and just solidify my future, man. And these next few years are going to go a long way in really doing that. You know how like you get to these points where you just feel like you're close, and I just feel like I'm really getting close, So that's
Totally
where I'm
agree.
at with it.
And like you said, like we all know what's going to happen, as far as like a recession and getting things on discount. And now this is the opportunity where, we know what to do, right? And now we're getting into that environment where this is like, we know what to do. What are we going to do about it? And, because then at that point, 3 to 5 years from now can be it can be completely game changing, like game over.
Oh my God.
Like, next stage of the finance, you know what I mean? So all love. In this particular case, Shay, as always, thank you for taking the time.
You already know, man. Appreciate you guys, man.
Yeah, man. I know the listeners got some goals and stuff. We're just trying to get people to take action or get that aha that makes them want to take that next step into whatever endeavor that they're looking to do. and we're here to make that happen, man. So as always, appreciate you for stopping by the show. Thank you for coming on, boss. We'll definitely be in
man.
contact.
Appreciate y'all.
Definitely gonna be in contact.
Yup. You know, whatever y'all need from me, man, let me know. And I would hope we could all get together, you know, sometime this summer and just drive around, man. Drive for some dollars, man. At least let y'all see the lay of the land. You know what I mean? So I can carve out a Saturday or Sunday. Come down here, man, and let's do it.
I'm here for it, boss. All love. All love.
All right.
Once again,
all love, man.
This is the Real Estate Blueprint Podcast. Signing off.
Yup. Appreciate y'all. Y'all be safe, man. Enjoy y'all day.
All love. Thank you, boss.
All right. Yup. Later.
Mm.